Have you ever lain awake at night, staring at the ceiling, your mind racing while the world sleeps around you? Have you felt the weight of exhaustion drag you down each morning, as if you never rested at all? If you've ever wondered why sleep feels like a battle you can't win, or if you've tried everything, pills, teas, or techniques, only to wake up still tired, this video is for you. I'm here to share a simple, natural discovery that transformed my sleepless nights into restful ones, not with medicine or complex routines, but with a single everyday food that changed everything. Stay with me until the end because this small change could unlock the deep, restorative sleep you've been longing for and give you back the energy to live your days fully. Before we begin, I would appreciate it if you like this video, you can help me continue to spread the old age lesson. If you haven't subscribed yet, I recommend you subscribe and turn on the bell so you don't miss any videos. If you like this video, please comment number 1. If you don't like it, comment number 0 to let me know, so I can make a better video for you. Now let's get started. I can still pinpoint the exact moment I realized something was wrong. Insomnia didn't descend on me like a sudden storm. It crept into my life with the subtlety of a shadow lengthening at dusk. It started so quietly that I barely noticed it at first. I'd lie in bed, waiting for sleep that took longer and longer to arrive. My usual routine, reading a few pages of a book, turning off the light, and drifting off, began to falter. Instead of slipping into rest, I'd stare at the ceiling, my mind buzzing softly, as if it had forgotten how to power down. The changes were gradual but relentless. At first, it was just the occasional night when I'd take an extra 20 minutes to fall asleep. Then came the awakenings, jarring moments in the dead of night, at 2:17 a.m., 3:45 a.m., or 4:12 a.m., with no rhyme or reason. I'd wake up, heart pounding lightly, as if startled by a sound I couldn't recall. I'd shuffle to the bathroom, splash water on my face, and try to coax myself back to sleep. But it was futile. My brain was wide awake, as alert as if it were noon, racing with stray thoughts or replaying mundane moments from the day. I'd lie there, watching the minutes tick by on the bedside clock, willing my body to surrender to rest, but it refused. The lack of sleep didn't just rob me of restful nights. It began to seep into my days, casting a heavy fog over everything I did. I felt sluggish, as if my body were moving through molasses. Simple tasks, writing a grocery list, answering an email, felt like climbing a steep hill. My patience wore thin. Small frustrations, like a misplaced key or a slow internet connection, could spark irritation that lingered far longer than it should. Conversations became a struggle. I'd lose my train of thought mid-sentence, grasping for words that slipped away like sand through my fingers. My head throbbed with a dull, persistent ache, and a strange, unshakable sadness clung to me, as if the world had grown heavier overnight. What hurt the most wasn't just the exhaustion, it was the isolation of it all. To the outside world, I looked the same. My face didn't betray the sleepless nights. My smile still masked the turmoil within. But inside, I was unraveling. People think insomnia is just about not sleeping, a minor inconvenience you shrug off with a cup of coffee. They don't understand that it's so much more. It's not just the absence of rest. It's the theft of your clarity, your joy, your sense of self. It's waking up every morning feeling like a faded version of who you used to be. Desperate for relief, I tried to tackle it on my own. I turned to the remedies you hear about everywhere. Herbal teas like valerian and chamomile, sipped slowly in the hopes they'd lull me into sleep. I downloaded apps with soothing rain sounds and guided meditations, their gentle voices urging me to let go and breathe deeply. I read articles about sleep hygiene and dutifully followed their advice. No screens an hour before bed, no caffeine after noon. I invested in a new pillow, swapped out my old mattress for a memory foam one, and even rearranged my bedroom to make it a sanctuary of rest. I tried meditation, sitting cross-legged on the floor, focusing on my breath until I felt foolish and restless. Some of these worked for a night or two. A chamomile tea might ease me into sleep once, or a new pillow might feel like a small victory for a couple of nights. But the relief was fleeting. The sleeplessness always returned, stubborn and unyielding, like a guest who overstays their welcome. My nights became a battlefield, and I was losing the war. The mere act of going to bed filled me with dread. I knew what awaited me, hours of tossing and turning, my mind spiraling through a loop of regrets, unfinished tasks, and worries about things I couldn't control. By morning, I was a shell of myself. Body heavy, mind foggy, soul weary. Starting the day felt like a monumental task. Getting out of bed was like scaling a mountain with chains around my ankles. I'd drag myself to the kitchen, brew coffee that tasted bitter no matter how I made it, and wonder if this was just what aging meant. Was poor sleep an inevitable part of growing older, like gray hair or creaking knees? I'd look in the mirror, searching for signs that I was still myself, but the reflection only showed tired eyes and a forced smile. Yet, deep inside, a small voice refused to accept this as my new normal. It whispered that sleep wasn't a luxury, it was a necessity, a fundamental part of being human. That voice pushed me to keep searching, to refuse to surrender to sleepless nights. Before I share the turning point, the discovery that reshaped my relationship with sleep, I need to explain why my earlier attempts failed. The problem wasn't just what I was doing in bed. It was rooted in choices I made hours, even days, before. To understand insomnia, you have to look beyond the bedroom and into the intricate machinery of the body and mind. As we age, our bodies undergo subtle but significant changes that affect sleep. After 60, sleep becomes lighter, more fragmented. We wake more easily. A creak in the house, a shift in temperature, or even no reason at all can pull us out of slumber. Falling back asleep becomes harder, and the total hours we sleep often shrink. Why does this happen? It starts with melatonin, the hormone that signals to our body that it's time to rest. Melatonin production peaks in the evening as darkness falls, creating that sleepy feeling that nudges us toward bed. But with age, our pineal gland produces less melatonin, sometimes not enough to trigger deep, restorative sleep. For some, it means falling asleep later. For others, it means not falling asleep at all. Then there's cortisol, the hormone tied to stress and energy. In a healthy system, cortisol levels drop at night, allowing the body to relax, and rise in the morning to help us start the day. But stress, whether from work, family, or even the quiet anxiety of aging, can disrupt this rhythm. Cortisol spikes when it should plummet, keeping the brain and body on high alert when they should be winding down. I realized my stress, often unacknowledged, was a silent saboteur, keeping me awake even when I felt exhausted. Another overlooked factor is body temperature. For deep sleep to occur, our core temperature needs to drop slightly, signaling to the brain that it's time to rest. This is why we often feel sleepy in a cool room. But heavy meals, a warm bedroom, or even emotional restlessness can prevent this drop, leaving the body in a state of subtle agitation. I hadn't considered how my habits, eating late, keeping the bedroom stuffy, or ruminating over the day, were working against my body's natural sleep signals. Over time, I learned that poor sleep in older adults isn't random. It's often the result of unknowingly disrupting the conditions the body needs to rest. One of the biggest culprits? What we eat at night. For years, my dinners were thrown together without much thought. A sandwich with cheese and bread, a bowl of reheated stew, or a quick plate of rice and vegetables, often paired with a glass of milk or a sweet dessert. I ate late, sometimes just an hour before bed, thinking it didn't matter. But it did. Heavy or late meals forced the digestive system to work overtime, raising body temperature and interfering with melatonin production. Sugary foods or refined carbs can cause blood sugar spikes, further disrupting the body's ability to settle into rest. Add to that the glow of a TV screen or the stress of scrolling through news on my phone, and it's no wonder my body was tired but not sleepy. Understanding these missteps was the first step toward reclaiming my sleep. Before I could add new habits, I had to stop the ones that were keeping me awake. That's when I stumbled upon a simple change that became my turning point. But before I reveal it, let's talk about the kinds of dinners that set the stage for better sleep, because what you eat isn't just fuel. It's a signal to your body about what comes next. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 1 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. Lighter, earlier dinners became my foundation. Think vegetable soups, steamed greens with a small portion of lean protein like fish or chicken, or a smoothie with berries and yogurt. These foods digest easily, allowing the body to shift into rest mode rather than staying in digestion mode. Timing matters too. Eating at least 2 to 3 hours before bed gives the body time to process the meal. I also learned to avoid foods that work against sleep. No heavy carbs, no fried foods, no sugary desserts. These changes weren't glamorous, but they were powerful. Now, for the discovery that changed everything. It wasn't a prescription, a fancy gadget, or an elaborate ritual. It was a humble cup of warm milk with turmeric and honey. Yes, that's simple. Turmeric, the golden spice I'd used for years in curries and stews, turned out to be more than a kitchen staple. Its active compound, curcumin, has anti-inflammatory properties that reduce oxidative stress in the brain, promoting relaxation and improving sleep quality. Honey, with its natural sugars, supports the release of serotonin, a precursor to melatonin, helping regulate the sleep-wake cycle. Milk, rich in tryptophan, provides the building blocks for serotonin production, creating a gentle cascade of calm that prepares the body for rest. I remember the first night I tried it. Skeptical but curious, I warmed a cup of milk, careful not to let it boil, as high heat can degrade its nutrients. I stirred in half a teaspoon of turmeric powder and a teaspoon of raw, unprocessed honey, watching the golden swirls blend into the creamy white. I sipped it slowly, about 40 minutes before bed, sitting quietly at my kitchen table, no phone or TV to distract me. I didn't expect miracles. I'd been burned by too many surefire remedies before. But as I lay down that night, something felt different. My body wasn't fighting to rest the way it usually did. My shoulders softened, my mind quieted, and before I knew it, I was asleep. There were no dramatic fanfares, no sudden plunge into unconsciousness. But for the first time in months, I slept through the night. When I woke up, the clock read 6:30 a.m. I'd slept nearly 7 hours straight, something I hadn't done in years. More than that, I felt different. Not just rested, but restored. My energy was steady, my mood lighter, as if my body had finally been given the chance to repair itself. That night wasn't a fluke. I repeated the turmeric milk honey ritual the next night, and then the next, and it continued to work. It wasn't a cure-all. Insomnia is too complex for that. But it was a catalyst, a small change that opened the door to a broader shift in how I approached sleep. I began to see sleep not as a single event, but as the result of a series of intentional choices throughout the day. Today, my nightly routine is simple but deliberate. I eat dinner early, ideally before 7 p.m., choosing light, nutrient-rich foods, a bowl of lentil soup, a boiled egg with avocado, or grilled salmon with mashed sweet potato. I avoid bread, fried foods, or anything too heavy or sugary. Around 8 p.m., I prepare my turmeric milk, sipping it slowly in a quiet corner of the house, away from screens. I dim the lights, keeping only a warm, amber glow to mimic the natural fade of daylight. My bedroom stays cool, around 65 degrees Fahrenheit, with a fan or an open window to help my body lower its core temperature. Before bed, I do a short stretching routine, nothing intense, just a few gentle movements to release the day's tension. I might raise my arms overhead, lean against the wall, or do a slow twist, breathing deeply as I go. It's not exercise, it's a signal to my body that it's safe to let go. If worries creep in, I jot them down in a notebook by my bedside, promising myself I'll address them tomorrow. This small act feels like closing the door on the day's chaos. When I lie down, I don't force sleep. If it doesn't come right away, I breathe deeply, focusing on the rhythm of my inhales and exhales. I've learned not to fight wakefulness. It only makes things worse. Instead, I trust that my body knows how to sleep. It just needs me to create the right conditions. This journey taught me that sleep isn't something you chase, it's something you invite. It starts hours before you climb into bed, with the food you eat, the light you're exposed to, and the thoughts you choose to set aside. That cup of turmeric milk wasn't a magic bullet, but it was a reminder that small, intentional changes can ripple outward, transforming not just your nights but your entire life. For the first time in years, I wake up feeling like myself again. Not faded, not foggy, but whole. For those of us who've crossed the threshold of 70, the rhythm of life may feel slower, gentler, and perhaps more reflective. But don't let that fool you. This approach to improving your sleep, though it may seem gradual, carries immense power. If you're in your 60s, 50s, or even younger, starting this routine today can fundamentally transform how you age, how you feel, and how you live. Age is not a barrier. It's merely a number. No matter where you stand on life's timeline, you can teach your body to rediscover the art of deep, restorative sleep. In the sections that follow, I'll provide a detailed, practical guide on what to do and what to avoid to make this approach work for you. If you've tried countless remedies, pillows, mattresses, meditation apps, or even medications, yet still wake up feeling drained, foggy, or as though you've barely slept, the root of your struggle might be hiding in plain sight: your dinner plate. For years, I overlooked this connection, assuming my eating habits had little to do with my sleepless nights. But once I began to unravel and eliminate my mistakes, one by one, my rest transformed in ways I never thought possible. The hidden culprits sabotaging your sleep. Let me share the lessons I learned through trial and error, lessons that reshaped my nights and, in turn, my days. These are the 4 primary culprits that disrupted my sleep, and they might be affecting yours too. 1. Coffee, the silent sleep thief. Many of us, especially as we age, proudly declare, "I can drink coffee at night and still sleep like a baby." I used to say the same. But here's the truth. Caffeine lingers in your system far longer than you realize, often 6 to 8 hours or more. You might drift off to sleep, lulled by the illusion of relaxation, but that sleep is shallow, fragmented, and far from restorative. Your body never fully sinks into the deep stages of sleep that repair and rejuvenate. I learned this the hard way, waking up groggy despite sleeping through the night. Once I cut out coffee after 2 p.m., I noticed my sleep deepened, and mornings became less of a struggle. If you're a coffee lover, consider switching to decaf or herbal tea in the evening to give your body the chance to rest fully. 2. Alcohol, the false lullaby. A glass of wine or a nightcap often feels like a shortcut to relaxation, especially after a long day. It can make you drowsy, coaxing you into bed with a warm, fuzzy feeling. But alcohol is a wolf in sheep's clothing when it comes to sleep. It disrupts the critical REM, rapid eye movement, stage of sleep, which is essential for memory, emotional processing, and mental clarity. Alcohol also dehydrates you, leading to frequent bathroom trips, night sweats, or even a racing heart in the middle of the night. I used to enjoy a small glass of red wine with dinner, thinking it was harmless. But I began to notice how often I'd wake up at 3 a.m., restless and unable to fall back asleep. Cutting back on alcohol, especially within 3 hours of bedtime, was a game changer. My sleep became steadier, and I woke up feeling refreshed instead of parched and disoriented. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 2 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. 3. Sugar, the sneaky saboteur. Who doesn't love a sweet treat before bed? A cookie, a slice of cake, or even a ripe piece of fruit might seem like a harmless indulgence. But sugar is a silent disruptor of sleep. When you eat something sweet, your blood glucose spikes, triggering an insulin surge that keeps your body in an active state when it should be winding down. Hours later, as your blood sugar crashes, you may wake up inexplicably, your body jolted out of rest by this metabolic roller coaster. I used to snack on a piece of chocolate or a sugary dessert after dinner, thinking it was a small treat. But those late-night awakenings, often accompanied by a vague sense of unease, were my body's way of signaling distress. By avoiding sugary foods in the evening and opting for balanced, sleep-friendly alternatives, I stabilized my blood sugar and slept more soundly. 4. Heavy fats, the digestive burden. Rich, heavy meals, think fried meats, cured sausages, aged cheeses, or creamy stews, are a recipe for digestive overload. When you eat these foods close to bedtime, your stomach works overtime, laboring for hours to break them down. This prolonged digestion prevents your body from lowering its core temperature, a critical step for entering deep sleep. You might fall asleep, but you're likely to wake up feeling bloated, thirsty, or even plagued by vivid, unsettling dreams. I vividly recall a night after my grandson's birthday celebration, when I indulged in chocolate cake, greasy empanadas, and a glass of red wine. I went to bed content, my heart full from the festivities. But by 2 a.m., I was tossing and turning, my stomach churning, my mind racing, and my body drenched in sweat. I woke up the next morning not just tired but shrouded in mental fog, irritable, and craving a nap by mid-morning. That night was a turning point. It taught me that what I eat directly impacts how I rest. A personal awakening. The night that changed everything. That birthday celebration was more than a sleepless night. It was a wake-up call. I realized that no matter how carefully I crafted my bedtime routine, dim lights, a warm bath, or calming music, it was all undermined if my dinner choices were working against me. From that moment, I became intentional about what I ate in the evening, treating my meals as a foundation for rest rather than a mere afterthought. The change didn't happen overnight, but within a week of making mindful adjustments, I felt my body begin to remember what true rest felt like. It was as if years of misalignment were gently clicking back into place, like puzzle pieces finding their rightful spots. The ripple effects of restful sleep. The first noticeable change was my morning energy. For years, getting out of bed felt like waging a war against my own body. I'd wake up more exhausted than when I went to sleep, dragging myself through the morning with slumped shoulders and a heavy heart. But after a week of better sleep, something shifted. I woke up before my alarm, my eyes clear and alert, free from the mental fog that had become my unwelcome companion. I felt alive in a way I hadn't in years. Then came the physical changes. The stiffness in my joints, which I'd accepted as an inevitable part of aging, began to ease. My morning walks, once a laborious chore, became fluid and enjoyable. I wasn't sprinting marathons, but my legs felt lighter, my steps steadier, and my body more responsive. I no longer felt like a piece of furniture creaking under its weight. Perhaps the most profound change was in my mood. I'd grown accustomed to irritability and apathy, snapping at small inconveniences or feeling disconnected from the world around me. But with better sleep, I became calmer, lighter, and more present. I laughed more easily, often without realizing it. Conversations with my wife, my children, and my friends deepened. I was listening, truly listening, with a patience I thought I'd lost forever. At my age, rediscovering that kind of emotional resilience is nothing short of a treasure. One afternoon, I found myself digging through an old drawer where I'd stashed my paintbrushes. I hadn't painted in years, blaming it on a lack of time or inspiration. In truth, it was mental exhaustion that had kept me from creating. That day, fueled by newfound clarity, I pulled out a canvas and some watercolors and began to paint. The colors flowed as if something inside me had been reawakened, a spark reignited by restful nights. I also rekindled my walks with a dear friend from the neighborhood. For months, I dodged his invitations, promising another day, while secretly lacking the energy to follow through. But after a week of better sleep, I was the one picking up the phone, eager to stroll to our favorite park bench, where we'd sit and talk about life, just like we used to. I felt like myself again, not the tired, foggy version I'd become, but the person I was meant to be. Why sleep is more than closing your eyes. Sleeping well isn't just about shutting your eyes for a few hours. It's about coming back to life. It's about rediscovering the joy of waking up, not to drag through the day but to embrace it with curiosity and vitality. It's about wanting to live fully, to savor the small moments, a sunrise, a laugh, a quiet cup of tea. Sleep is not a luxury. It's a vital need, as essential as food, water, or air. Without it, our bodies and minds wither. With it, we bloom. Many of us underestimate the transformative power of sleep, treating it as an afterthought or a negotiable part of life. But I've learned that poor sleep isn't just a minor inconvenience. It's a thief, stealing our energy, our clarity, and our joy. The good news? We can take back control, starting with small, intentional changes to our evening habits. A sleep-friendly dinner. Natural alternatives to support rest. You may have heard about the soothing benefits of warm milk with turmeric and honey, often called golden milk. It's a simple, time-honored remedy that signals to your body it's time to unwind. But what if you're lactose intolerant, dislike the taste, or simply didn't notice a difference? That's perfectly okay. Everybody is unique, and the goal is to find what works for you. Below, I'll share 3 natural, sleep-promoting alternatives that are gentle, effective, and easy to incorporate into your evening routine. 1. Oats. A comforting evening ally. Oats aren't just for breakfast. They're a powerful sleep aid when consumed at night. Rich in melatonin, the hormone that regulates sleep, and magnesium, which relaxes muscles and calms the nervous system, oats create the perfect conditions for rest. A small bowl of warm oatmeal, topped with mashed banana and a sprinkle of cinnamon, is both delicious and soothing. The banana adds natural sweetness and potassium, while cinnamon helps stabilize blood sugar, preventing disruptive nighttime awakenings. Prepare it with water or a plant-based milk like almond or oat milk if dairy isn't an option. Eat it slowly, savoring each bite, about an hour before bed to give your body time to relax. 2. Almonds, a nutrient-packed nighttime snack. Almonds are a nutritional powerhouse for sleep, packed with tryptophan, an amino acid that supports serotonin production, and magnesium, which eases muscle tension. Unlike sugary snacks, almonds provide steady energy without spiking your blood sugar, ensuring metabolic stability through the night. A small handful of raw, unsalted almonds, about 10 to 12 nuts, eaten 30 to 60 minutes before bed is ideal. For a cozy alternative, try warming unsweetened almond milk with a drizzle of honey and a dash of natural vanilla extract. Sip it slowly in a quiet, dimly lit space to enhance its calming effects. Moderation is key. Too many almonds can be heavy on the stomach, so keep portions small. 3. Ripe bananas, nature's sleep enhancer. Bananas, especially when very ripe with brown spots, are a fantastic pre-bedtime snack. They're rich in potassium and magnesium, both of which relax muscles and nerves, and contain just enough natural sugar to help your brain absorb tryptophan more effectively. Try eating half a banana on its own or blending it into a simple smoothie with plain, unsweetened yogurt, if you tolerate dairy, and a pinch of cinnamon. The combination is light, satisfying, and gentle on your digestive system. Avoid pairing bananas with added sugars or heavy ingredients, as these can counteract their sleep-promoting benefits. Bonus: chamomile tea with cinnamon. If you prefer a warm drink to wind down, chamomile tea with a pinch of cinnamon is a perfect choice. Chamomile has been used for centuries to reduce anxiety and promote relaxation, thanks to its mild sedative properties. Cinnamon complements it by helping regulate blood sugar levels, preventing those disruptive hypoglycemic dips in the middle of the night. Brew a cup of chamomile tea, add a small pinch of cinnamon, and sip it mindfully in a calm environment. No screens, no distractions. This simple ritual can become a soothing anchor, signaling to your body that it's time to let go and prepare for rest. If you are still watching this video and finding these lessons useful, please comment number 3 below to let me know that you are still watching this video with me. Thank you for your valuable time. The art of eating for sleep, timing and environment matter. The foods you choose are only part of the equation. How and when you eat them is just as crucial. Even the most sleep-friendly meal won't work its magic if you rush through it, eat it too late, or consume it in a chaotic environment. Here are some key principles to maximize the benefits of your evening choices. Timing. Aim to eat your last meal or snack 40 to 60 minutes before bed. This gives your body enough time to begin digestion without taxing your system as you try to sleep. Eating too close to bedtime forces your digestive system to work when it should be resting, leading to discomfort and disrupted sleep. Portion size. Keep portions small and light. A heavy meal, even if it's made of sleep-friendly foods, can overwhelm your stomach and prevent your body from fully relaxing. Environment. Create a calm, intentional setting for your evening meal or snack. Dim the lights, turn off screens, and avoid distractions like news or social media. Eating mindfully, with gratitude and presence, helps your body shift into a restful state. Consistency. Like any habit, the benefits of a sleep-friendly diet build over time. Commit to these choices for at least a week, and pay attention to how your body responds. Small, consistent changes are far more powerful than sporadic efforts. Habits to break. The evening traps that steal your sleep. Beyond what you eat, your evening habits play a critical role in the quality of your rest. These are the 3 behaviors I vowed never to repeat before bed, as they built an invisible wall between me and the sleep I craved. 1. Screen time. The blue light barrier. I used to end my days scrolling through my phone, catching up on news, answering messages, or watching videos. Sometimes I'd lose track of time, staying up until midnight or later without realizing it. But the blue light emitted by screens suppresses melatonin production, tricking your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Beyond the light, the constant stream of information, news headlines, social media debates, or even funny videos, creates mental noise that lingers long after you close your eyes. I now leave my phone outside the bedroom, replacing screen time with a book, soft music, or simply sitting in silence. The difference is profound. My mind settles, and sleep comes more naturally. 2. Heavy conversations. The emotional overload. There was a time when I thought nighttime was the perfect moment to resolve conflicts or discuss serious matters. If something bothered me, I'd bring it up with my wife or replay it in my mind, believing I was processing my emotions. But these conversations, or even internal debates, left my heart racing and my mind restless, making restful sleep impossible. I've since learned that nighttime is sacred. It's a time for calm, not confrontation. If something weighs on me, I jot it down for the next day and let it go. Protecting the peace of my evenings has been a gift to my sleep and my relationships. 3. Eating out of anxiety. The emotional trap. This was one of my most insidious habits. I wasn't always hungry, but when stress or restlessness crept in, I'd reach for a snack, a piece of bread, a sweet, or a chunk of cheese. These bites weren't about nourishment. They were about soothing anxiety or filling a void. But those late-night nibbles signaled my body to stay active, disrupting the natural wind-down process. I've since learned to pause and ask myself, am I truly hungry, or is this something else? By addressing emotional triggers through journaling, deep breathing, or a warm drink, I've broken the cycle of anxious eating. My body now knows that nighttime is for rest, not digestion. Listening to your body. A call to action. Poor sleep has become so normalized that many of us accept it as an inevitable part of aging. Waking up tired, achy, or mentally foggy feels like the default, so common that we stop questioning it. But your body is always speaking, sometimes in whispers, sometimes in screams. It's pleading for rest, for care, for attention. I didn't realize how poorly I was living until I reclaimed my sleep and rediscovered what it means to feel alive. Today, my night begins long before I climb into bed. It's a ritual, a sacred act of self-care. I dim the lights, sip a warm cup of chamomile tea, and let silence wrap around me like a soft blanket. I avoid screens, heavy conversations, and unnecessary snacks, choosing instead to honor my body's need for calm. At over 80 years old, I've decided I deserve to care for myself, not out of obligation, but out of love. A final reflection. Sleep as a right, not a luxury. Let's pause for a moment, not to sleep just yet, but to reflect. What have we learned? First, that sleep is not a luxury. It's a fundamental right, a cornerstone of health for your body, mind, and soul. Second, that insomnia isn't always solved with pills or gadgets. Often, the solution lies in the simple choices we make in the kitchen. A warm bowl of oats, a handful of almonds, or a cup of chamomile tea can be a gentle signal to your body. It's time to rest. Third, that our evening habits, screens, arguments, anxious eating, matter as much as what we do during the day. These small choices, night after night, shape the quality of our rest and, in turn, our lives. Most importantly, you are not alone. Thousands of people, perhaps you, go to bed each night hoping for rest, only to wake up exhausted, yearning for energy that never comes. If you're at that point, where your body is weary, your mind foggy, your spirit dimmed, I want to speak directly to your heart. Don't give up. Don't accept poor sleep as your fate. Don't believe that insomnia is just how it is. Sometimes, a single change, a new evening ritual, a mindful meal, a decision to prioritize rest, can unlock the deep, healing sleep your body craves. So here's my final advice, offered with all the sincerity of someone who's walked this path. Make your nights a sacred space. You don't need perfection, just intention. You don't need drastic changes, just consistency. Choose foods that nourish and calm, create habits that honor your body's rhythm, and listen to what your body is telling you. When you do, you'll wake up not just rested, but alive, ready to embrace the beauty of each new day. Your body will thank you in ways you never imagined possible. And there you have it, my journey from sleepless nights to restful, energizing sleep, all thanks to a simple change that started in my kitchen. I hope my story has given you hope, a new perspective, or maybe just a spark to try something different for your day. What have you learned so far from this video? I'd love for you to share in the comments below one thing you've learned and will bring to practice in your life to improve your sleep. Your story could inspire someone else. If you like this video, please leave your comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you for being here, and here's to better nights and brighter days.